Hi, Adriana. I hope you're having a good Friday. Well, this was a question 2 weeks ago. I meant to answer it, but time just passed and my plate was very full. I'm so sorry. I apologize for the lateness. But I will try to answer your question by solving it in this link, and I hope it will be useful because this is a great question and it is an important question. You really need to understand this for particularly test 4. So your question from WebAssign quiz 13, it was x minus 8 over 5x plus 1 less than or equal to 0. So we're looking for an interval solution for this rational statement or rational inequality. So first of all, we go one by one. We are going to take the top, x minus 8 equal to 0. We'll find a root for that. x1 is equal to 8. And then we're going to look at the bottom, which is, I'm sure you know all this. It could be boring, but I want to go ahead and do it from the beginning. So it is going to become -1, and x2 will be equal to -1 over 5. All right. So hence one thing. We want it to be less than or equal to 0. So that is going to bring us for somehow brackets rather than parentheses. But we really need to be careful while we're placing those brackets, because if we use -1 over 5, that is going to make our denominator equal to 0, right? So we're going to adhere that little line, less than or equal to. It's not just less than. If it was just less than, it would be like this, 0. However, it is less than or equal to 0. So that little line, red line there, is going to bring another thinking process to us. So that's what we will be doing. So what we're going to do, we use the sign chart, right? So we're going to put those two roots in an order, in a number line order. So -1 over 5 comes first, and then 8 comes later. So -1 over 5 is a root for 5x plus 1, and 8 is a root for x minus 8. So this will be our sign chart, and we're coming from -infinity, going to +infinity, and this is our boxes. So, by the way, this is my way of applying sign chart. There are other YouTube videos on the pertaining folder. You might want to look at that, or probably you look at that, or you have a different way of applying sign chart. That is okay. We are going to land on the same answer. So then, because my way of doing it, I'm going forward. Because -1 over 5 is a root for 5x plus 1, I'm interested in right hand side and the left hand side of the root. So those holes are like placeholders. So then I'm claiming this side of the root for 5x plus 1 will be positive, because this side will be positive, the other side will be negative. And since there is no roots along these lines, so it's going to go positive and positive. Okay, so with the same thinking process, we are going to look at 8 as it's the root of x minus 8. So on the right hand side of that root will be positive, left hand side will be negative. You might ask this question, how am I supposed to know that? Okay, there are two ways you can do it. You can give a trial number greater than 8, put that into that equation. For instance, here 9. 9 minus 8 is 1. 1 is a positive number, that's why we have positive. With the same criteria, -1 over 5, a greater number, for instance 0. If you put 0 here, 5 times 0 plus 1 will be 1. 1 is positive. Because this side is positive, the other side will be negative. So there will be a sign change on each side of the root, right? Okay, so we continue. So there are no other roots here. That will be negative. There are no other roots on this side. So that will be positive. Okay, so what are we doing with the sign chart? We need to count. So we're dividing two negative numbers. We're going to end up positive. One negative, one positive number. Negative, positive, and positive. So what we were looking for, we wanted our statement to be less than or equal to 0. So we're looking for a negative result, and it happens in this interval. Okay, so I'm going to take that interval thinking that, okay, I have no restriction. So how would I write it down? Negative 1 over 5. Okay, I'll use a different color. Negative 1 over 5, 8, and both of them are included, right? Because I do have x minus 8, 5x plus 1, less than or equal to 0. Because of this equal sign, will create the brackets for me. However, if I include negative 1 over 5, my denominator will be undefined. I cannot take negative 1 over 5, so I need to make a revision and make that solution like this. So if you want a perfect written way, it would become like this. So the reason is not brackets on both sides, because one end of the bracket will make the denominator undefined. And that's the way, shortest way, I believe we can think of. Let me know what you think if you still have problems. And that's all about me now. Again, I apologize for the lateness on my response. It's totally went down on my emails, but I remember you were on my mind for a couple of days, and I just wanted to record it and send that to you. Hopefully it will be helpful. Okay, have a great Friday and the weekend. Bye.